Welcome back, guys. You're sitting on a pillow right now and it's probably not the best situation, so if you fall over at any point, then that's why. If you're new here, my name is Chelsea. I am a part of this channel with my husband, but I love to do these types of videos where we talk about TMI things, which really shouldn't be too much information, simply because it's almost like a conversation that you would have with a girlfriend or just your group of friends together. So I hope that we can create that vibe today. I went to Instagram and I asked you guys a few questions and we're gonna answer them on here to the best of my ability. So let's do that. These ones are a little bit more random, not all on the same topic, so I'm gonna try to answer as well as I can. One of them says, how do you recommend starting to read the Bible and have intentional time with Jesus? I always recommend to have one time a day for sure that you can count on, that you just etch into your day, where there's no pressure to do another thing or to go here or do that. Usually in the mornings is best because you're starting off your day with like great intentions and just like quiet time, and just having a still morning in general is really nice, and it helps you to slow down. So I just recommend that in general, even if you're not reading or you're not a Christian and you don't read the Bible. I just recommend having a slower morning. But of course I would always encourage anybody to read scripture and see what the Lord teaches you. I recommend picking a book of the Bible that you're going to go through with another person. So usually what I do lately with my friends like my friend Chansea and Ngazi, we will share in like a little group what verse stuck out to us from the morning of reading, and we'll send a little audio message of what we believe the Lord was saying to us or to the people when it was written. So that always encourages me to like stay accountable to it, and it's neat to be able to get other people's perspectives of what they think of that. So if you even have to, like, include some of your Christian friends into a group message and like title it something fun, and then just all chat in that and hold each other accountable, because then it's just always fun to like learn new things from other people. Lingerie talk. Like, do you wear it? When are you supposed to wear it? That's really interesting because I'll be honest, I had not owned any of that when I first got married. I just didn't really see the point of it. I was like, well, it only is going to stay on for like 2 seconds, so what's the point? But I think it is fun to feel extra confident in yourself, and kind of changes up the normal routine as a married couple. So that is something that I think is, you know, worth, maybe even if your friends are married and they're done with a certain piece of lingerie and you just want to swap or something. I have a friend who literally let me like take some of her lingerie that she never used, and I was like, this is fun because this is my first experience with it, and it's fun to like change things up. And so I would just recommend not to go crazy as far as like spending a ton of money on it, because it can get really expensive, and I don't see it as like necessary items that you really need to purchase. But if you were to spend money on it, then I would like just have 1 or 2 pieces that you rotate, and just randomly when you're feeling it, just throw it on. Okay, this is like one of my favorite questions because I'm able to share a little bit of my insight and experience. This girl says, irregular periods, and does birth control help you get more regular? Technically, birth control does help you get more regular. It helps you to like remember and know like on the calendar when you're gonna have it. However, it does manipulate your hormones in a synthetic way. So it's not like you're getting, you know, the real hormones that your body naturally produces. They're being manipulated, and that's what birth control does. It's fine if you're okay with that. But personally, I have read into statistics for women who've developed breast cancer, and if they've used like birth control in the past, and just mood swings and weight gain and things that I personally was experiencing and I just didn't want to anymore, there's a train. So I don't use it anymore. What I do use is this, oh my gosh, so what I do use now is an oil called Progessence Plus Serum, and I'll rotate it between my inner arms, my inner thighs, and my abdomen area, and it has a naturally occurring progesterone in it from wild yams, which is pretty crazy. And I help women personally on my wellness Instagram account transition their products to more natural, and this is one of the things that I recommend them if they're coming off of birth control to get this in their life, and they'll start to see changes in how painful their periods are, how long the periods are, when you can expect them. My periods at one point, even whenever I was on birth control, was around 7 days, and now they're about 4 days long, and there's no cramping. So that's a blessing from the Lord. And also I'm just so thankful for natural remedies, because they're just not like something to knock, honestly. A lot of people will just say, you know what, medicine's better in this area, but I beg to differ. I've had a personal different experience, and everybody that I've helped in this area, they've seen a change for the better as well. How to get over the fear of intimacy and one day being intimate. I think underlying this question is a question of insecurity, and one thing that I was afraid of in this area, this topic, was more so of me being insecure about certain parts of myself. And so I think that usually when this question is asked, there is some underlying level of insecurity, and the only way to address that is to just start the process of loving yourself and how God has created you. But that's easier said than done. One of the things that I've talked about in another TMI video is kind of how in this moment, kind of how thinking about having sex for the first time, I was just worried about being naked. I was like, oh, that's just so weird to me. I don't know, it's just kind of freaky. So I think that when you're with the person that is right for you, and you end up getting married and you get to share this gift together, there are all the things that you have in your head of, this isn't good enough, this is probably not as good as this person, and you know, what if they think this of me? Usually those lies that you've told yourself for a long time are silenced by that person, or you notice through the process that, you know, the person that you're with is imperfect too, and you're both imperfect individuals, and you have nothing to be afraid of or to hide behind. You don't have to do that. And so I just really recommend working on your communication in that relationship. And it seems like you don't have a relationship right now, so I understand why you're probably fearful of this right now, because you don't know the type of person that you're going to end up with. But I think just being able to have open dialogue, open conversation is very vital, and it's not going to be how you think it is in your head. You're not going to be as insecure as you think you are, especially if you're praying into those moments and truly being able to see each other for who you are and who they are, and being able to love them despite that, because nobody's perfect, and you're going to end up with an imperfect person, and that's okay. That's what makes relationships so special and able to grow. So this is an interesting question. It says, do you give each other privacy on the toilet, or is it normal just to walk in? In our relationship, it's completely normal to just walk in. Usually Nick is more polite than I am, as far as he'll like knock or he'll say something before he comes in. With me, I'm just like, why'd you shut the door? Like, I need to be able to just freely come in. If I have to go to the bathroom and you're showering, then what's up, bro? So yeah, pretty open. Okay, so there's two questions that are very similar but are worded differently. The first one says, how do you negotiate if one of you isn't the mood, has mismatched drives? And then the other one says, what do you do when you're super tired but your hubby desires being with you? So this is really funny, because I feel like I've had experiences where I've had to kind of throw my feelings out the window because I truly care about Nick. There's a biblical passage on this topic, but some people will say that I'm very old-fashioned. So sometimes you're legitimately just very tired, and you kind of negotiate as, well, let's you know, reconvene in the morning or the next day. And then there's sometimes where you realize that, you know, a few days have gone by, or maybe a week, and your excuse every time has been, I'm tired. And so you kind of have to put that feeling aside. And then there's never been a time, I'll just be honest, there's never been a time where I've regretted like saying yes even though I was tired or wasn't in the mood. Usually your body has to catch up to, like, your feelings change as your physical environment changes, as your thoughts change. So if you're able to like physically change how you're acting or what you decide to do, then your emotions will change and you'll be glad that you had said yes. So that's kind of my answer. I think that there's definitely times where like you have had a long day and the last thing that sounds desirable is that. And then there are other times where yes, you're tired, but there are ways to still be intimate together and not make it this exhausting thing, because there are ways. So okay, this last question says, what are your tips on long distance? So if you've watched any of our previous videos, we've done several videos on LDR relationships and our experience. So I would recommend going and watching those, because those are a little bit more in depth and you'll probably be able to like binge those and get better advice. I'm a little bit removed from that period of my life, so I feel like my advice now wouldn't be as great as whenever I was in the midst of it. So recommend watching those. And thank you guys for the questions. There wasn't as many this time because I kind of asked an hour before I started filming this video. So if your question was not in this video, I apologize, and hopefully we can do this again soon. I'm trying to do them more frequently because it seems like you guys really like these chats. So thank you guys for watching, and we will see you guys again on Friday.